Well, hello and welcome. My name is Miss Heard with Miss Heard Song Lyrics Podcast. We're at Season 5, Episode 238, doing my first ever R.E.M. The Miss Heard song lyric is, "That's P in the spotlight, losing my religion." And then the correct lyrics is, "That's me in the spotlight, losing my religion." Of course, we're talking about R.E.M's Losing My Religion. And the misheard song lyric is P in the spotlight. Hopefully there is not. If you have a young pup, you're potty training, you understand there's going to be P here and there. And luckily my little guy is now 4 years old, Leon, our COVID pup, but sometimes he has some mistakes here and there. So when I saw this misheard song lyric, I'm like, yeah, I can definitely relate. So let's talk about Losing My Religion. It is a song by American alt-rock or alternative rock band called R.E.M., and it was released back in February of 1991, wow, by Warner Brothers as the first single and the second track from the group's seventh album from 1991 called Out of Time. Let's talk about R.E.M. Who are they? They're an American rock band from Athens, Georgia, formed in 1980 by drummer Bill Berry, and then it includes Bill Berry. He did drums, percussion, backing vocals, occasional bass. He's been with the band since inception from 1980 and then left in 1997 and then had some appearances here and there from 2003 to 2007. And then the other three members have been there from beginning to end, from 1980 until they broke up in 2011. So that's Peter Buck, lead guitarist, mandolin, banjo player, keyboards and drums, Mike Mills, bass, keyboards, backing vocals, occasional lead vocals and guitar, and of course, famous Michael Stipe, lead vocalist, occasional harmonica, percussion, and guitar. And they are one of the first alternative rock bands, and it was noted for Buck's, what they call guitar style, and Stipe's distinctive vocal quality, and of course his stage presence, and obscure lyrics. I love how they say that. And then Mills' melodic bass lines and backing vocals, and Barry's tight, economical drumming style. And even in the 30s, other prominent bands like Nirvana and Pavement viewed R.E.M. as the pioneer of alternative rock. So it's a big label that they have been given. And then after Barry left in 1997, Bill Berry, the band still continued in its careers in 2000 with, they say, mixed critical and commercial success. All right, so they did break up, and they said amicably, in September 2011, with members devoting time to solo projects, having sold more than 90 million albums worldwide. And remember, a majority of that is people actually going to the record store to buy these albums, not downloadable, and becoming one of the world's best-selling music acts. And they have since stated in many interviews that the band is unlikely to reunite. And I've heard of some podcasts and some news out there that even when they were in one room together, they just don't perform. So they will not reunite. But you never know. They're also very well known for their activism. So I'm going to list a whole bunch because a lot of them I remember it back in the 90s. So throughout R.E.M.'s career, they have definitely pushed for social and political issues. And R.E.M. was considered to be one of the United States' most liberal and politically correct rock groups. The band is mostly on the same page politically, and they do share what they call a liberal and progressive outlook. Now, Mills did admit that there were some times where not all the band members were on the same causes and support the same causes. So here's what he said. Out of respect for the people who disagree, those discussions tend to stay in-house, just because we'd rather not let people know where the divisions lie. So like what Mills said is, Mills admitted there was occasionally dissension between band members on what causes they might support, but acknowledged out of respect for the people who disagree, those discussions tend to stay in-house, just because we'd rather not let people know where the divisions lie, so people can't exploit them for their own purposes. And a good example of this, apparently in 1990, Stipe was the only one that was involved with PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, but the rest of the band was not. So that's where they agreed to disagree. Also, they helped raise funds for environmental, feminist, and human rights causes, and were involved in campaigns to encourage voter registration, which is, even in 2024, very prominent. So very cool to know about that. And apparently during the Green Tour, Stipe spoke on stage to the audiences about a variety of socio-political issues. And through the late 1980s and 90s, the band, specifically Stipe himself, used his media coverage on national television to mention a variety of causes that they felt were important. The one that definitely sticks out and he's known for was back in the 1991 MTV Video Music Awards. He wore, you didn't know this yet, but he wore a half dozen white t-shirts with slogans including rainforest, love knows no colors, and handgun control now. So he'd keep taking off a t-shirt and like, oh, there's more with all these words on it. So that was pretty smart back in the day. Also, another awareness that they helped with was Aung San Suu Kyi, I hope I'm saying it right, and human rights violations in Myanmar, where they worked with the Freedom Campaign and the U.S. Campaign for Burma. And then Stipe himself ran for ads for the 1988 election, supporting then Democratic presidential candidate and Massachusetts Governor Mike Dukakis over then Vice President George H.W. Bush. And then in 2004, the band also participated in the Vote for a Change tour that helped to mobilize American voters to support Democratic presidential candidate John Kerry. Unfortunately, John Kerry did not win. And then with R.E.M's political stance, particularly coming from a wealthy rock band under control to a label owned by a multinational corporation, they received criticism from former Q editor Paul Dunoyer, who criticized the band's celebrity liberalism, saying, quote unquote, "It's an entirely pain-free form of rebellion that they're adopting. There's no risk involved in it whatsoever, but quite a bit of shoring up of customer loyalty." Yikes. Okay. So, lots of support there. That they also support their hometown of Athens. From the late 1980s, R.E.M. was involved in local politics in their hometown of Athens. Buck explained to Sounds in 1987, quote unquote, "Michael always says, think local and act local. We have been doing a lot of stuff in our town to try and make it a better place." The band often donated funds to local charities and helped renovate and preserve historic buildings in the town. And then R.E.M's political clout was credited with the narrow election of Athens Mayor Gwen Oluni twice in the 1990s. The band is a member of the Canadian charity Artists Against Racism. So there you go. Lots of charities and a lot of causes that they support. So let's talk about the origin of the song Losing My Religion. So R.E.M. guitarist Peter Buck wrote the main riff and the chorus to the song on a mandolin while watching television one day, they say. He said he bought the instrument trying to learn it and how to play it and recorded the music as he was practicing. Smart for him. Buck said that, quote unquote, "When I listened back to it the next day, there was a bunch of stuff that was really just me learning how to play mandolin, and that's where it became Losing My Religion. And then a whole bunch more of me learning to play the mandolin." Very cool. The actual song was recorded in September of 1990 at Bearsville Studio A in Woodstock, New York, and the song was arranged in the studio with mandolin, electric bass, and drums. So what is the meaning of it? Because, assuming it's just you're losing your religion, but there's more to it. Stipe had said that the song's lyrics is not about religion, and the phrase "losing my religion" is actually an expression for the southern region of the U.S. that means losing one's temper or civility or feeling frustrated and desperate. I did not know that. He told the New York Times that the song was about a romantic expression. He told Q that losing my religion is also about someone who pines for someone else. It's unrequited love, what have you. He compares the song's theme to the Police's 1983 Every Breath You Take, saying, "It's just a classic obsession pop song. I've always felt the best kinds of songs are the ones where everyone can listen to it, put themselves in it and say, yeah, that's me." So that's what it's about. Not about religion, but for the just simple pining for someone obsession. Interesting. What about the music video? It is classic. And if you look at it, it was actually uploaded on YouTube back on July 1st, 2011. So coming this July, we're hitting, 13 years? It's at a whopping 1.2 billion views. And what I didn't realize is this one hit 1 billion views on YouTube on September 2022, becoming the band's first video to do so. That's pretty cool. When I looked at the numbers, that's way more than a million. It's 1 billion. And it's still growing. I'm one of those clicks. The music video for Losing My Religion was directed by Tarsim Singh. As opposed to previous R.E.M. videos, Michael Stipe actually agreed to lip sync in the lyrics. So that sounds to me that he always wanted to sing in the actual videos. He actually wanted it to be a straight performance video, like what Sinead O'Connor did with Nothing Compares to You, just standing in front singing it. But Singh had other ideas as the director of the video. He wanted this certain type of Indian filmmaking where everything would be melodramatic and very dreamlike, according to Stipe. Singh also had the video modeled after the Gabriel Garcia Marquez short story, quote unquote, A Very Old Man with Enormous Wings. That's where you see Stipe in front of these white big wings behind him, in which an angel crashes into a town and the villagers have varied reactions to him. The video begins with a brief sequence inside a dark room where water drips from an open window, and it's actually recreating a scene from Andrei Tarkovsky's film The Sacrifice. Buck, Barry, and Mills run across the room while Stipe remains seated as a pitcher of milk drops from the windowsill and shatters. Then the song begins. Director Singh also drew inspiration from Italian painter, a lot of inspirations, Caravaggio, and the video is chock full of religious imagery such as Saint Sebastian, the biblical episode of the incredulity, I don't know how to say that, of Thomas and Hindu deities portrayed in a series of tableaus. And then there's an American actor in there. So Wade Dominguez, born on May 10th, 1966, he was an American actor, model, singer, and dancer, best known for his portrayal as Emilio Ramirez in Michelle Pfeiffer's 1995 movie Dangerous Minds. He actually appears in this music video. Now, I did say he actually passed away August 26, 1998, when he was only a young 32. Apparently, he was previously diagnosed with AIDS, and actress Elizabeth Berkley of Saved by the Bell and Showgirls fame supposedly visited Dominguez in his hospital bed and showed him a rough cut of his last film, Taxman. He then broke down crying, saying, quote unquote, I'm so good, I'm so good. Dominguez died before the release of the film, which is dedicated to him. And then last but not least, how did the music video do? Well, it did quite well. It was nominated in 9 categories at the 1991 1991 MTV Video Music Awards. The video won 6 awards, including Video of the Year, Best Group Video, Breakthrough Video, Best Art Direction, and Best Editing. So Director Singh had it right, and they did quite well. But again, it's not about P in the spotlight. That's me in the spotlight. If you have some great suggestions like this misheard song lyric, just send it to any of our social sites as X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, as well as Instagram, or just send me an email at misheard song lyrics, that's MISSHEARD songs @gmail.com. Till then, keep singing those songs wrong. Bye.